All right, so hey, hello, it's Feature Friday again. So we did a video a couple weeks ago about AppPoints, and it was kind of long. And we dabbled in the administrative side of AppPoints. So this week we thought we'd give you a little more detail about what it means to administrate your application points. And of course, we're going to be using MASADMIN, the application suite admin level user, to accomplish that. So hopefully it'll give you a little more detail on the practical side of what it means to manage app points. So let's enjoy it. Okay, so here we go. We are going to log in as MASADMIN. And the very first thing we're going to notice is that there is a gear up here in the upper right corner. This is your access to the administration part of Application Suite. You'll notice that once I click on that gear, I'm taken to a slightly different site. And there is an admin URL that is available so that administrators can go directly here and not have to log in just the way that I did now. You still have to log in, but it's through a different path. You'll notice once you're in site administration, you have it here across the top, all the different components and applications and such that have been configured in the Application Suite environment. But our focus is going to be down here on license consumption and then initially users. So if we click on the Users tab, of course we get the list of Application Suite users. And we're going to start out by creating a new user here. Fill in your typical information as you would expect. So this is Golly user, and we're going to give them a user ID and give them an email, something like this. Okay, we'll skip all the other things. The important stuff here, though, is their entitlement. So most likely, based on your licensing agreement, your subscription agreement, your users will most all be concurrent users, which means, and I'll click here on the little I, that app points are checked in and out of the pool as the users log in and log out. An authorized user actually reserves app points. So you have a choice here as to which approach your licensing scheme has been based upon. Most likely it'll be concurrent. But then you have application entitlements and you have administration entitlements. So if the user is just accessing the application suite applications and components, then they will be at some level of their entitlement. I'm just going to choose base. And so this means that this particular user, when they log in and begin using the applications, they will pull 10 app points out of the pool. And when they log out, those 10 app points will be returned to the pool. If this user is also granted administration entitlement, then they have a slightly different situation where when they log in as an administrator, they will utilize points as well. However, as an administrator, their points are reserved for them ahead of time. They are not part of the pool necessarily. And you'll see here in just a few minutes when we get over to the licensing part of this video where you'll have a number of app points that are reserved not only for administrative users but also for the different pieces of the application suite. I'm not going to give them any entitlement here. I'm just going to stick with your typical user with their application entitlements. And then of course the application access based upon what's installed on this system. This is what this user has access to. And you'll notice that for Manage specifically, the access that the user has within Manage, formerly known as Maximo, that access is set in Manage by way of security groups like you're used to. So you don't manage access here at the application suite level. You're just creating the user. Once those few things are done, click Create. And you get a results screen here with all of the information that you just typed in about this user. Okay. Now, if I go back to users and I use the search screen to find Golly here. Okay. You'll notice over here on the right-hand side, there is a synchronization message that is occurring at the moment. This means that Application Suite and Manage are synchronizing the user record with each other. If I went into Manage and I went into Security and then Users, in just a few minutes here, I would find this brand new user over on the Manage side. Okay, so now let's go look at license consumption. So menu item over here on the left-hand side, go ahead and switch right to that. And it immediately shows you the situation that you're in as far as AppPoints go. So on this particular system, I have 300 AppPoints that I am entitled to. I can see my peak usage over the last period of time. I can see the average usage as well. And I can certainly see whether anybody had been denied logging in. By default, the system is set up so that if your pool of AppPoints is drained, then users will not be able to log in, with the exceptions of the admins because they have reserved AppPoints like we talked about earlier. If you scroll down here just a little bit, you can see the chart, and it comes up initially just in the last month, and you can change that time base if you'd like. And you can see here that as the days go by, I have a set of, in this case, there's 65 reserved AppPoints in this particular system. So I have applications that are installed that require reserved AppPoints, as well as some administrative users in the system as well that will stack up these reserved points. And then of course you can see on a certain day here I had 15 AppPoints that were out in use by a particular set of users. Rolling down even more so, you can see the year to date, your peak usage by month and things like that. Okay. All right, so now let's go up, and we can either get there through the details section, through these links here on the screen, or we can just go to configuration. Either way takes you to the same place. If I click on configuration, I can see where I can manage the session idle timeout, which one would expect. By default, it's set to 30 minutes. The compliance enforcement, this is set by default to on. This is where if you run out of AppPoints, users will not be able to log in. It appears that you're able to turn this off, and that's true. But after about a couple of hours, it will turn itself back on again. The Suite license service here, there is actually, when you installed Application Suite, there is a license service that is installed as well, and that is what's actually managing your Application Suite AppPoints and licenses, if you will. Okay. The license key file. When you first stood up Application Suite, after all the contracts are signed and purchase orders have been sent, then you will be entitled to a license key file. And part of the deployment process of Application Suite is where that file is physically placed in Application Suite. And you can see here when it was issued and the AppPoints amount and things like that. It's also down here where you are able to update that file. Maybe over time you purchase more AppPoints, then you would get a new license file from the Key Center and replace it here and refresh your pool of application points. Let's go back to report. And that's pretty much it. Pretty straightforward, seeing the AppPoints that you have, seeing where they're being used and how they're being allocated, and certainly understanding whether or not your AppPoint pool is running out or not. So, exciting topic. Hopefully that was useful. So, yeah, administrating AppPoints is really pretty simple. Once you get that license file installed in the system, then it's just a matter of knowing which users and which pieces of Application Suite are reserving AppPoints. And then, of course, what is left is the pool of application points that your users have access to. And then, of course, depending on what entitlement they have will depend on how many AppPoints they pull out of the pool. So, again, very exciting topic about AppPoints, and hopefully that was helpful. So thanks a lot for watching.